We're already a couple months into 2023, and it's already shaping to be a really exciting year for technology. With CES out of the way, and the first new wave of smartphones arriving, we have a better idea of the year to come. So, here are my top 5 trends for 2023. The desktop PC market isn't doing so well at the moment, so it's no surprise we're seeing PC makers focus almost all of their attention on new laptops. And this was evident at CES, where the show was almost dominated by new and exciting laptops. 2 things caught my attention. 1, laptop performance is looking seriously impressive this year. 2, we're seeing the return of really thick, huge laptops. 2023 is one of those years where the stars have aligned and we're getting both new laptop GPUs and CPUs. So you're getting an uplift in performance on both sides. Take the new Nvidia 40 series. If you look at the top end at the laptop 4090, you're getting almost the same performance as a desktop 3090 last year. And the same story is true when it comes to the new laptop CPUs. With AMD's and Intel's new CPUs, you're getting similar or greater performance than the desktop versions of last year. On top of this, we're seeing many more 16-inch laptops, and the return of the 18-inch laptop form factor. Now, these aren't laptops you're going to want to carry with you every day, but they're clearly for those who want desktop class performance with the versatility of a laptop. Yes, if you were to buy a desktop with the latest GPU and CPU, you would still see a big performance leap. But I think that's missing the point. We're at the point where laptops can act as desktop replacements without too much compromise, with the added versatility of a laptop. We've seen OLED be used in TVs for years, heralded for their deep blacks, rich contrast and punchy colours, but they never really made a splash in the monitor world, unless you wanted to use a huge TV as a monitor. Thankfully this year, we're seeing many more companies release OLED monitors at more reasonable prices and more palatable sizes as well. So we're seeing 27-inch monitors and 32-inch ones too. A much more reasonable size for a desk. These should be amazing for gaming and multimedia use cases. You might not have heard of it yet, but Matter is a new smart home appliance standard, and it made a huge splash at CES earlier this year, and it aims to unify all of your smart home appliances across platforms, ecosystems and manufacturers, so that they can all work together in unison. It helps solve the issue of being locked into an ecosystem, whether that's Alexa, Google Home, or Apple HomeKit. Right now, let's say you're heavily invested in one ecosystem. You have an iPhone, so you've decided to build all of your smart home ecosystem around that, just buying AppleKit appliances. But hey, there's a new shiny Android phone that catches your eye, and you decide to switch just to realize that you can't control any of your smart home appliances anymore. With Matter, that issue should be a thing of the past. All of your smart home appliances, regardless of brand or ecosystem, should be able to communicate with each other. So I'm really excited to see this become more mainstream this year. The most important part of a smartphone nowadays is the camera. And with the help of computational photography, smartphones can take incredible photos with relatively tiny camera sensors. In the last year, we've seen a glimpse of the future of mobile photography in a couple of ways. 1, mobile sensors with huge resolutions, and 2, physically larger camera sensors being squeezed into smartphones. The recent Galaxy S23 Ultra is a perfect example of utilizing a huge resolution to take better photos. It packs a whopping 200 megapixel camera sensor. It's important to note, you won't actually be taking 200 megapixel photos, unless you're in very bright conditions. 200 megapixels spread across a relatively small camera sensor means you have very small pixels. Small pixels aren't able to capture that much light, which is why it uses a technique called pixel binning, which, put very simply, takes those small pixels to form larger ones. Those larger pixels are able to capture a lot more light, making your camera a lot more versatile across a variety of lighting conditions. But this also sacrifices resolution. The resulting photo is only 12 megapixels. But that 12 megapixel photo has been able to capture a lot more light, probably resulting in a better end result. So that was one approach, utilizing a huge resolution to get better photos. The next one is using a physically larger sensor. And last year was the first time we saw sort of compact camera sized sensors make their way into smartphones. Last year's Xiaomi 12 Ultra was the perfect example of this. It packed a 1-inch sensor, the same size sensor that you'll actually see in some of Sony's own compact cameras, which means it's less reliant on software and techniques like pixel binning to get good photos across a broad range of lighting conditions. Its larger camera size just means it's naturally more capable of capturing more light. Apple seems to be using a blend of these approaches, taking a relatively large camera sensor and combining a, again, relatively large camera resolution to achieve better photos. It'll be interesting to see which way mobile photography goes in. My final trend for the year is audiophile-grade wireless noise cancelling headphones. There was a time where you couldn't mention audiophile and wireless in the same sentence. And for the longest time, Bluetooth felt like a compromise, at least for those prioritizing sound quality above all. Last year, I think we started to see a paradigm shift in this thinking. We saw the release of a new category of wireless headphones, the ones that could please the audiophile. A few examples include the Bowers & Wilkins PX8, the Focal Bathis, and the Mark Leveson 5909. I had the pleasure to try the Focal Bathis last year, and it was certainly a cut above the Sonys and AirPod Maxes of the world. I think this trend is going to continue into this year, and that we'll see many more high-end wireless headphones come our way. So, those are my top 5 trends for 2023. What are yours? Please let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, a like and subscribe will go a long way. Until then, I'll see you next time.